I have a confession to make. I am a small booktuber. I'm not going to keep talking like this for the rest of the video
because it would be really damn annoying. I was tagged by Jen the Bookworm already a while ago, and I had a bunch of things lined up, so I didn't get to it, but here it is. Let's get right into it. Prompt number 1 is just introduce yourself. So I'm Matt. I live in Berlin. I was born in America. I grew up in Australia. I have 2 passports. I've lived in America, Australia, Germany, Denmark. I've moved back and forth a lot. That's pretty much defined my life. I've been reading fantasy ever since my mother gave me a box set of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings when I was 9 years old. I think maybe I'd read Narnia before that. I'm not really sure. I don't remember. I've got a legendary crap memory for books. I have literally numerous times in my reading life started reading a book and thought, this seems familiar somehow. And then realized that I read it 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I reread a lot, not just because I forget, but also because I like rereading books that are good. And I have been a designer, also important part of my life. I've been a designer for 25 years. I design mostly digital stuff, software, websites, that kind of thing. I used to design books a long time ago, but now it's all digital stuff. And yeah, that's about it. How long have I been on BookTube? I've been on BookTube almost exactly 5 months. I started in August this year, 2022. So haven't been around that long. What types of videos do I make? I guess kind of the same as everyone. I like to have a conversational style, as if, you know, we were friends and we were sitting down together, maybe having a beer and talking about books we've read recently. I do reviews when I like a book. That's kind of a principal concept of my channel, is I don't really want to recommend to anyone to not read a book. There are plenty of garbage books out there. I don't want to read them. And if I do read them, I don't want to tell you about them. I want to tell you about books that I think you should read. So I do reviews of books if I like them. I do some of the, I guess, typical listy sort of things like top 10 this and top 10 that. I've done my favorite fantasy swords in fantasy literature. I've done my favorite Malazan characters. I do a lot of Malazan videos, not only Malazan videos, but I am rereading the Malazan Book of the Fallen in my mammoth Malaz Everything Read. And that, of course, dictates a fair bit of my content. And more, I'm trying to get into philosophical, sort of like me thinking about the books I'm reading a little deeper than I might be used to, or than I usually do. So those are slowly coming up. What do I love about BookTube? The main thing I love about BookTube, and really the main reason I started my channel, is I really liked the people I saw on BookTube. The people that I was watching, the booktubers that I was watching, I just wanted to be part of what they were doing. I wanted to get to know them. And that's why I've got my monthly Friends on Books series. So at least once a month, I get 3 other booktubers together and we have a chat live. And that has been some of the most fun I've had on BookTube so far. Also, in my real life, I don't really have any friends that read the kind of stuff I read. So having people like you watching and in the comments and on Discords and that kind of thing, all of that means a lot to me because it gives me people that I can actually interact with who are really into stuff that I'm really into, that most people I know in real life are not. And also, of course, having lots of recommendations, like being able to, I used to not have a list of books I wanted to read. I just, every now and then I'd be like, yeah, I want to read something. And I'd go and look around a little bit. I'd look on Amazon for recommendations and whatever. Now I'm getting to know some people and I know what they like and I know how their likes relate to my likes, my personal tastes. So I have way too many books that I probably should be reading sometime soon, which is great, actually. What types of books do I read? I say it at the beginning of every video. I said it at the beginning of this video: fantasy mostly, science fiction sometimes, and comics occasionally. I also read nonfiction, usually about technology-related subjects. And then literary fiction, I used to read a lot more. I'm getting slowly back into it. But Paul Auster, Haruki Murakami, authors like them. So weird stuff, but still more literary fiction than full-on fantasy. But yeah, that's basically it. This question I'm not so sure about. What is my favorite video that I've made so far? Certainly YouTube's favorite video that I've made so far is the one about my Lord of the Rings editions. It has gotten about 10 times as many views, more than 10 times as many views as my next most favorite or most viewed video. My personal favorite, probably one of my Friends on Books, and I'm not gonna pick one, but I think just the Friends on Books series would be what I would say is my favorite, because those chats with people are always a good laugh, and I'm getting to know people I want to get to know, and we always have a good time, and usually really, really interesting topics come up as well, which is super interesting. So in the last prompt is to tag some small booktubers. I'm taking small to mean less than 1,000 subs, like me. So because they're Australian, I'm going to tag Archer from Archer's World of Literature and Chris from A Fictional Escapist. I love listening to those guys just to hear their accents. But also because they have some interesting thoughts on books, obviously. But it's like a little piece of home going back and listening to someone who's an Aussie. Also Evie from She Was Only Evie. We've just started getting to know each other. She's going to be on Friends on Books in January. And Scott the Bald Booktuber. We've interacted a lot. Scott's been super encouraging since I started the channel. So you four, Archer, Chris, Evie, and Scott, you four have been tagged. Get into it. As always, I hope you're doing well. I hope this wasn't annoying with me being small the whole time. I wanted to play with my new green screen.
And as always, keep reading awesome books, and I'll see you next time.